So here we are at Quang again in his second studio. So this is fantastic. So tell me a little bit, it's such not what we used to most people know about your style. So tell us about your experimental studio and how did you get to that, which when you look at it, it almost looks abstract. So tell us, what kind of experiment?
It is abstract. This experience, this painting came from an experience I had in West Virginia when I walked in this wooded in the fall for 2 days. I went back the second day and I walked around, got really looking. I looked for fossils, I saw the trees, I saw the leaves, I sat and meditated, and I came across this, it's a stagnant pool of water, but the underneath the water is like a foot deep of leaves that had settled underneath, and then these leaves that sat on top was so bright against it. And I remember the stillness of the whole thing was incredible. So when I came back, I remember that experience, and I'm trying to think of how would I paint that. And in painting it becomes a different kind of problem, because then how thick do I paint it? I have 5 different ways that I want to try this. So this one, you can see the value, you see the feel of it, but I want to do one painting where the paint is so thick that it feels like it's just dripping off of the canvas, and still have this feel. So it has that quality. So with each experience, there's a different way of looking at it, of how to paint it. You will see the brush strokes in here. The mark is very calligraphic at some point, in some sense. So when you look deeper into the painting, where so you see individual color shapes within a very small range of tone.
But do you work from memory? Do you take a photo? Do you do a sketch on site, or you just remember it in your mind?
That's a great question. I actually brought my paints with me and I was going to set up and paint. And this is my first experience in West Virginia, and the fall was incredible. But as I was just setting up to paint, it occurred to me that, what am I going to paint? I'm going to paint that corner or this corner? I would miss the whole thing. So I put everything away, and I walked around in the woods for 2 days. And I could tell you that was a learning experience, because when I came back, the experience was more powerful than what I had done.
I love that.
So the painting came from the experience. So
it came from your guts, from your...
Most of it is from my imagination. Part of it, I took hundreds of photographs too. But of course, the photograph doesn't really tell you anything. If you had given me that same photograph, I couldn't paint this. But because of the experience, it came from.
I love it. That's fantastic. And similar thing here, it was the same region, same trip?
Same trip. I was sitting on a log, staring at these trees, but after I stared at it for long enough, I realized they don't look, it's just this fascinating color against this bed of texture. And that color looked like one color at a glance, but obviously it's millions of colors, just color upon color upon color. So I'm trying to paint that experience. And this painting actually frustrated me. This is over a year's worth of building. So you see over here, there's a black and white painting. And it's the same woods.
Yeah.
So the same woods.
Is it easier when it's monochrome?
Well, I wanted that color painting to feel like this, but I couldn't paint it like this because the color got in the way. So I said, that's not how I wanted to feel. That became a different exercise, and so that became another painting.
So where's your rules?
Huh?
Where's your rules? Where are your rules?
No, I threw that
Just keep
parameter. So by taking color out of the way, I could go directly to the way I wanted it to feel. Now, and this expressive quality is what I wanted. So now that I've done this without the color, now I want to go back and do that again. So to see if it'll feel like this.
That's fantastic. This is again, it's very personal. As a collector, that talks to me. Like I said, this painting resonates in my ears. I can still, as I drive out, I can still hear
That's
The
wonderful.
noise.
That's because you know how to look at art. There's one more.
Ah!
So after this experience, the energy was still building up in me, right? And I went to that.
Aha!
And I let it go even more. So it transferred from this to that kind of energy.
Wow.
You see what I mean? So it's
This
one
huge.
thing will build into another, and that's how I work.
Okay, I love
But then from there, I go to something that quiet. It just, there's no rule. It's whatever excites me.
I think if tomorrow we do a show with this painting
Yeah.
on the side and on the wall and that on the other wall, no one will never guess it's the same artist.
Probably not.
Even more this one, these two. How about
Yeah.
putting these two together?
Oh, I love that. Well, these are all going together in a museum show.
Really? The same show?
The same show.
Cool, that's great.
That's
So,
yeah.
on that note, you know what I'm gonna say? Go paint!